All tortoises are turtles, but not every turtle is a tortoise. What was that again? A tortoise is a turtle that lives on land. Tortoises move slowly and have domed shells for protection against predators. Sea and freshwater turtles have streamlined shells and webbed flippers for speed in swimming. Hi, I'm Jack Hanna. Join me on Zoo Life to learn more about the animals of the world. Right, RJ? I'm with David Hales, the director here at Lincoln Park, and who are these little guys?
One of our friends who lives here on a year-round basis.
I mean, this is amazing to be right here with beautiful chimps in this exhibit, and right here is downtown Chicago in our own back view.
That's right.
What's it like running an urban zoo like this?
Well, the challenges that are a little different from other zoos are kind of apparent. We have neighbors that live very close to us, and this is a free zoo. Anybody, rich or poor, can come here as often as they like. So we try to reach out in every way to a very diverse audience. This is an experience that's theirs by right, not by privilege.
What is your greatest challenge here trying to run an urban zoo like this?
To let people come face to face with the things that we care about and to let the animals speak for themselves.
Go there and sit with your mother, will you? Let me alone. I'm trying to rest.
I soon found out there's no rest for the weary when I met up with Luann Metzger, who manages a special program for city youth.
We have an after-school program called Zootrition, and we bring the children from after-school centers around the city to the farm and the zoo where they learn about nutrition and food and where it comes from.
Is that a bull? Is it a boy or a girl? Boy. That's good. And the heifers are what?
Girls.
Girl, right.
How much do you think they weigh?
Look at this, 200.
There we go.
255,000 billion trillion thousand billion 404 pounds.
Together, probably, they weigh about 200 pounds each.
That one is greedy.
See, they're born with teeth, too. They have their teeth already. See them? Did you see those?
No.
Cows have teeth only on the bottom of their mouth, not on the top. They have a pad on the top that they chew with.
Whoa.
Hold it up.
Whoa.
Look at all these pigs. Come here. See how they doing me? See there how they root around my shoes? What does a pig do?
Oink, 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 oink.
Like this, like this.
Do you know that pigs don't sweat? No. The only places that they have sweat glands is right down here around the end of their nose. And that's why pigs wallow in mud. It's not because they like the dirt. It's because the dirt is really cool and they lay down in it. And then it cools them off as they dry.
Do not crowd.
So everybody, where does bacon come from?
Pigs.
Oh, look at that little tail.
Hot dog. That's what hot dogs come from. Mama, mama, I'm so sick. Call the doctor, quick, quick, quick. Doctor, doctor, will I die? Just close your eyes and count to 5. I said a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. I'm alive on channel 7.
Good.
All right.
At the Detroit Zoo, I spoke with acting director Khadijah Shelby, who feels that educating youth about animals is crucial to saving wildlife on Earth.
Now, you helped start the ZAP program here at the zoo. What does ZAP mean, and what do the kids do?
Well, ZAP is short for Zoo Apprentice Program. And we have had so many inquiries on an individual basis from youngsters who say, I want to be a veterinarian, or I want to be a zookeeper. Can I come out to the zoo and go around with a keeper? And youngsters learn what we as humans can do to perpetuate the various species.
What would be the advantage of the oryx living in a group?
Defensive-wise, they can protect themselves when it's a large group.
That's right. What's the disadvantage?
They have to share their food.
They have to share their food, right?
When there's in large groups, they're easier to hunt because there's so many of them. At least you'll get one.
That's right. Look at them diving in the pool. Oh, look here, kids. We got the polar bear.
Don't take my fish, it's mine, you know. Yeah, you're too greedy, yeah. See, that's why he's feeding them each one in a different area to keep down that fighting. But it's only when they get close, as you notice, that they get greedy and, hey, this is my area, you get out of my territory, that's my fish.
The students' eyes were open to a multitude of career options after being in such close contact with the animals.
All right, now that we've gone through the ZAP program, what do you want to be? Now, what about you?
Architect.
Architect?
Yeah,
That's
design
neat,
zoo.
Henry.
Yeah.
That's good, zoo architect. And Amanda?
Working on the landscapes for the different...
Oh, that's good. And Pal?
I think I'm going to teach about how animals live in their habitats now.
So what about you, Ebony?
Well, I'll take your advice and be the director.
All right, Ebony, yeah, I like it.
With programs like ZAP, we can be assured that there will be people who care about wildlife and manage them properly.
One of the largest chimpanzee exhibits in the world can be found right here at the Detroit Zoo. And I had the good fortune to be shown around by Scott Carter, curator of mammals.
What we're going to do is when we put the chimps out in the morning, we give them treats to eat.
What do you have there?
We got frozen strawberries today, and we're going to hide this around the trees and the shrubs and stuff and make it more of a challenge for the chimps to find food.
You even have, what, an anthill out here.
The termite mound, this is an artificial termite mound, just like you would find in Africa. The chimps like to use these. They use sticks to fish termites out of these mounds.
I'll tell you what, I'll put a strawberry in there. See if they find me a strawberry. There, I'll hide that one.
Chimps normally spend most of their day finding things to eat. That's one of the reasons why here in the zoo we hide their food and make them go through normal behaviors to find food during the day.
They're finding our strawberries. Do they hunt in groups?
They will hunt cooperatively. They hunt for small forest antelopes. They'll hunt and eat baboons. Usually they will help each other catch it, and then they usually share the food afterwards.
I noticed that baby on the mother's back. Is that a natural thing that they would do?
That's a very natural thing. The baby can ride on the back, and the mother has both hands free to walk around and find food and things.
Do they have hands like a gorilla as far as what they can do?
Physically, they have a lot of similarities to us, especially their hands. They have an opposable thumb. Their thumb moves like this, so they can pick things up. Their foot also is just like this. Unlike us, their big toe does the same thing. We're still learning a lot about chimps.
What is the status of chimps in the wild?
They are an endangered species. Ideally, the captive population will someday be able to replenish the wild.
I couldn't resist helping with the daily skincare ritual for Ruth and Winky, who are just showered with affection.
They like baths? Oh, yeah, I get this dirt off top over here. Boy, it's like washing a big car. Okie dokie, yeah, it's got her behind the ears.
I notice how they keep flapping their ears. Flapping the ears, you can see all the blood vessels in her ears when she flaps it. As the blood circulates, it cools the blood. And it keeps insects away from her face.
Hello, Ruth. Hello.
The skin over her sides is probably 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. It sounds very thick, but for a body this big, their skin is very sensitive to sunburn and to bug bites.
Huh. Now we got to rinse her off. Take a bath, Ruth. Well, there she goes. Can something that big swim real well?
They swim very well, actually. Their bodies are very buoyant. They can swim with their head completely underwater and just their trunks out, snorkeling. They do just about everything with their trunk, though. They breathe, they eat, they drink. She could pick up a big, heavy log. Oh. She could pick up a dime with her trunk.
Okay, Ruth, let's go. Oh, man, it's so hard to get out of there.
Well, their feet are actually, they have a big spongy shock absorber up inside their foot, and that takes up a lot of the weight. And when they walk, you can watch the foot actually spread out.
Man, alive, I just got all the dirt off of you. You don't get dirty again.
When she's done and she gives herself a dust bath, that helps protect her skin from the sun.
Oh, I see. Scott, thanks a lot for letting me bathe the elephants.
Oh, thank you, Jack. You did good. Jungle Jack's elephant wash. I think we might do this all the time.
All right, I just bring them down to Columbus and you and I'll wash them. I get my hose here. Take my equipment back. My buckets. Elephant car wash.
I stopped in for a visit at one of my neighboring Ohio zoos and found myself lost in time and completely charmed by its turn-of-the-century atmosphere. Most zoos in our country have torn down all their older buildings as well as animal exhibits. But here at the Toledo Zoo, they've done a great job in preserving buildings like this reptile house, which is right across from the new African Plains exhibit. Now, I have a 55-gallon aquarium in my office, which I thought was pretty big, until I came to the Toledo Zoo and saw this 375,000-gallon hippocarium. Hippocarium? And to tell me more about it is Glenna Savada, the mammal curator here at the Toledo Zoo.
This exhibit was opened in 1987. It's the first ever underwater filtered viewing of hippos.
Good night. What do people say when they see this big thing floating around in here?
Oh, they're pretty excited. They can't believe that they can see them actually just kind of doing their little pirouettes and moving around in here.
Where are hippos from, and how many of them live together?
Hippos are from Africa, and they usually live along the riverbeds.
I was noticing how big their teeth are. A lot of people you see in the old Tarzan movies, they think you see them eating people. They don't eat meat, though.
No, they don't eat meat. They mostly eat grasses and fruits and vegetables. They're grazers. But they do have extremely big teeth. Their front incisors can get as long as 11 inches, and also their tusks that can be 20 inches long. When they start fighting, they use their heads. They open their mouth, and they do a lot of head throwing and shaking, and they can inflict a lot of damage because their skin is very thin. And so when they start going with those big teeth, they can really put a gash in one another.
As far as their skin, I've noticed some red stuff on it. What's that for?
Hippos' skin is quite different from most other mammals. They don't have sweat glands. They have these mucus glands. They secrete this red, sticky fluid out of their pores that actually looks like they're sweating blood. But it's actually like a natural suntan lotion that protects them from the sun, also protects them from infection, and also from dehydration. Hippos spend most of their time in the water, but they do like to get out and bask in the sun. I mean, when you come with natural suntan lotion, I mean, it would just make sense that once in a while you'd like to lay out in the sun and absorb the rays.
I was looking at here a minute ago at their little noses and ears. It looks like a submarine coming up.
Right, they can just come up to the surface, and their nostrils, their eyes, and their ears are all on the same plane. Other animals are not aware, oftentimes, of the hippos being in the water around them. And there could be hundreds of hippos around you, and you may not notice it. You may all of a sudden just see a couple eyes or a couple ears and some nostrils.
Oh, look here, look at that thing.
Yeah, you can see how their ears are laid back flat. That keeps the water out of their ears, and their nostrils are shut tight. That also keeps the water out of their nose. They're specially adapted for that.
Look at that. I mean, how long can they stay underwater?
They can stay underwater for 5 minutes or so.
Now, the baby hippos, they're not born underwater, are they?
Oh, they sure are. That's pretty exciting. We watched Bubbles the last time she was in labor. It happened at 2:45 in the afternoon, right in front of the glass. The little foot came out, went back in, but the stands were all cheering for Bubbles all the way. It was about 2 hours, though, actually, before the baby did pop out. It's just the neatest thing. People really love it. I mean, it is just the greatest. I think there's a lot of misconception about hippos. I think people feel that they're very aggressive at all times, but actually hippos can be very friendly, and we've seen how graceful they can be as they're swimming by.
It's like a ballet.
It's great. They're just a great animal.
I've come all the way to Georgia to pay my respects to a grand old guy. This is Zoo Atlanta's African rainforest, home to more silverback gorillas than any other zoo in the country, and its most famous resident is Willie B.
Willie B lives in a spacious forest setting that could easily be mistaken for his native African home. For this 36-year-old, it is the happy ending of a story that threatened to be very sad. For Willie B and Zoo Atlanta, it was not always so idyllic. When the young 3-year-old arrived here in 1961 from Africa, most zoos kept animals in cages. Willie B was to spend the next 27 years behind bars. Charles Horton, lead primate keeper, has been with Willie B for more than 20 years and knows him better than any other human being.
Well, when I first started taking care of Willie in the old building that we just had a bare floor with tile, and Willie had a very small world, you know, and we always felt kind of obligated to give him special attention since those kind of environments were really deprived.
Unfortunately, Willie B was only the most well-known example of the sorry state of the entire zoo.
There were animals in cages, it was dirty, it was small, it was really not a great zoo.
At the time, it was on the list of the 10 worst zoos in the country, and the American Association of Zoological Parks and Aquariums denied it accreditation. Then in 1984, Parks Commissioner Carolyn Hatcher had a fateful meeting with Mayor Andrew Young.
I remember once when he said to me, well, Carolyn, it's great to worry about the animals and fix up that zoo, but how about all the other problems? And to try to put it in the context of there are people who don't have enough to eat, who don't have jobs. Why is a zoo important? And it was very easy for me to say, well, first of all, because it's here. And my attitude was, we should either fix it up or close it down.
After Carolyn Hatcher found the necessary financial and community support to save the zoo, she turned to a professor from Georgia Tech, Dr. Terry Maple, to help implement her ideas.
Certainly this community spoke up for its zoo loud and clear. I'm the only director this zoo ever had, and it's 102 years old, where the public said, don't just fix it, make it really good.
And that's exactly what Dr. Maple did. The first phase of Zoo Atlanta's renovations included a new home for Willie B in the African rainforest.
Getting Willie outside for the first time, it had to be the best day so far of my life here at the zoo. I would have never dreamed it was possible, even maybe 2 years before that. The fact that we can give him an identity of his own and not just like our personal pet or our mascot is you know, it's very dignifying to finally give an animal what he deserves.
As Willie adapted to his new surroundings, he not only lost 40 pounds, he began behaving more like a gorilla in the wild. But what would happen when he was introduced to a potential mate?
We did maybe 2 months of the indoor introduction before we put him outside together. I felt really Another big blessing is I was walking by and just happened to catch them by accident and didn't really believe what I was seeing. I said, how did they figure this out? And it was just another incredible big day for us.
Today, Willie B shares his home with 3 adult females, Chuma, Shambra, and Kenyani. Besides Willie B's troop, there are 3 other gorilla families in the rainforest, making it one of the largest captive gorilla habitats in the world. Free to live their lives much as they would in the wild, the families continue to grow and flourish. And here's the real happy ending. Kudzu is the 6th baby born here since the rainforest opened. Her father, the grand old guy himself, Willie B. Clearly, it's the beginning of a new story in which Willie B will now be the symbol of one of the best zoos in the country.
LA Zoo. Woo! No skateboards, no skateboards. Oh man. How you doing? Going to the zoo, man. Look at this waterfall, it looks cool. Is it cool or what?
Bringing wildlife to the city is what it's all about for Mark Goldstein, director of the Los Angeles Zoo.
You can't get more urban than right here is the city, and right here is your zoo. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, that is the city, the smog, the freeways, the traffic, and here's our nirvana. These people that live in this incredible metropolis with all the freeways and the fast way of life, they cross this barrier into this zoo. People can come to the zoo, it's an affordable experience, and for a couple of hours, you're allowed to act like a child. And fun's important in life. I think it reduces that stress. I think if more of us got to laugh more often, I think we'd probably hate a little less.
Well, this is neat. Man, alive.
We see it from the prairie
like
dogs.
there's a prairie dog right in front of me. Wow, look at those.
We have a little 1-month-old agile gibbon, which is this little guy right here.
He looks like E.T.'s hands, doesn't he? Just like
they do look like E.T.
Yeah, exactly.
And
what's the other one?
The other one is a 7-day-old drill.
It comes from Central Africa, and along with being the first birth in 10 years in North America, which makes it very significant for us all, it is one of those many that their wild habitat in Central Africa, in this case, is being destroyed by human beings. Laurie and the keepers here will spend a lot of time making sure that this drill spends time with other primates, other monkeys, so that it truly grows up, recognizing that it's a monkey, not a person.
Well, he's got beautiful eyes. Look at those eyes, man.
Oh, little one.
I love his haircut. I just love his haircut. They live in troops?
Yes, they live in social troops. But our success with getting them really socialized and adapting to people in this country has really been very difficult.
So if we have other primate species in the nursery, we raise them together so that they get that early socializing, which is very important to them. We also take them to the exhibits and socialize them with their own species as early as a couple of weeks old.
Or else they go home with you, right?
Or else they go home with me.
See you later.
Sweetie.
Now this next creature is one that I'd love to take home with me.
This looks like some animal you'd see on the Flintstones, along with the woolly mammoth or the saber-toothed tiger. But this is Emmy, and Emmy's a 2-year-old Sumatran rhino, one of the rarest animals on Earth. And with me is Richard Floyd, Emmy's keeper. Now, what's it like? I've never seen a hairy baby like this.
She is wonderful to work with, Jack. She is fantastic.
Now, Richard, does this animal have a prehensile lip?
Yes, she does, Jack. The prehensile lip, if you look real closely, it sticks out there. She uses this to reach over to pull the branches off trees.
There she goes. Now she pulls them off like leaves, so she doesn't eat grass like a cow.
That's right. She's not a grazer, she's a browser. This is the ficus. small leaf ficus, passion vine, and Kiefer plum.
All right.
She loved all of it.
Now, was she born with all this hair?
Yes, she was. She was, yes. These Sumatra rhino, when they're young like this, they have long hair, real long reddish hair.
Look at that fold.
This is how they evolved.
Golly day.
1 million years ago, they evolved this way, the Sumatra rhino did.
On this rhino here, the horns on this rhino aren't very big, because other rhinos, the horns are big. Will these grow?
Just 2 years old. When she gets about 6 years old, the horns will get bigger. Sumatra rhino are endangered because there are people that feel the horn is something like an aphrodisiac and that the rhino's paws cures all aches and pain. Plus, people in Sumatra are pushing the Sumatra rhinos further into the deep part of the forest, so they are being killed and moved out of their habitat. We are involved in an SSP program that is to save all rhinos from extinction. We are trying to bring these rhinos into the country, to breed them, and hopefully we'll have some baby Sumatra rhinos in the future. Emmy, all right, where you going? She's a very special rhino that we love. She's very quiet, very shy, very playful, and very lovable. She's a very special creature. That's my baby. That's my sweetheart.
I'm here at the San Diego Zoo, one of the most famous and respected zoos in the world. And there are a lot of changes going on here, as with its sister, the San Diego Wild Animal Park. So I'm here to see what all the action's about. San Diego embarked on its new master plan a few years ago, a plan calling for the creation of a third-generation zoo, organized not around individual animal species, but around the Earth's climatic zones and natural habitats. A key idea here is to display the animals and plants together, the way they live in nature. So I started my San Diego exploration with a nature walk through the recently completed gorilla tropics. My guide was the zoo's expert on plants, Charles Colburn.
I've always loved nature, and I've always loved plants and gardens, but here you get an opportunity to combine the garden with the animals and try to recreate, simulate natural habitats where you've got plants and animals living together and those interdependencies of life forms.
This whole place looks just like a jungle.
That's the whole idea. We really look at the way nature looks and try to, at least to some degree, try to simulate that, try to recreate that here and give people some feeling of what the natural world is like. We have birds that migrate through and spend a little time here, and particularly in our pool areas, they're very attractive for those birds.
This pool looks so natural.
We added vegetation, and we have biofilters which circulate and purify the water. We added fish so that the birds in here have more natural behavior. You can see them out there actually fishing successfully. We have fish in there that eat the mosquito larvae, and it's on kind of an ongoing biosystem that kind of takes on a life of its own. One of the most important things we can be doing here, aside from the actual propagation of species, is the education that we have the opportunity to convey to people. We have over 3 million guests a year coming into the zoo, and we have them here sometimes for hours, and we can have them re-embrace nature, reawaken to nature.
Now, Charles, with this gorilla exhibit here, it's as natural as well. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, the idea is to reproduce to some extent anyway tropical Africa. So this looks something like the home that the gorillas would be found in.
Well, I can tell you, I've been there, and it looks exactly like where they live.
Thank you very much.
So really, the people have to really look for the gorillas to find them, don't they? They might not just be here.
That's really the idea. We give the gorillas spaces to be in. They can come right up to the people if they choose to, but they can also have their privacy if they need to. We think that's better off for the gorillas, and for the public, I think it reinforces a notion that's accurate, that if you're in the wild, you don't always see the gorillas, and you don't necessarily appreciate something if it's always right in front of you.
Oh, there's one right over there.
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, people get excited that way.
That's right.
I'll take care of you.
Oh, look at that. It's an aviary?
Uh-huh. We're coming up on an aviary, passing by some coffee trees. This is euphoria plant, bananas, citrus, other things that people might have around their villages in an African setting.
And what kind of birds are in here?
Well, we've got birds from many parts of the world. The emphasis is on African birds, and create a place for them where they can nest and fly and exhibit their natural behaviors.
It just seems so real in here. Boy, what is that?
Sounds like thunder to me.
That's pretty natural, isn't it?
It looks natural, too. Whoa, it's starting to rain.
It's not supposed to rain. I don't believe this.
I think when you take any animal from the wild, then you have a big responsibility for the well-being of that animal. And so part of that carries over into the exhibits that we design and build for them.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
The most recent third-generation experiment is the exhibit for the bonobos, also called pygmy chimps. Bonobos, rare animals from Zaire, Africa, are by nature active and extremely intelligent primates, so designing an adequate space for them was quite a challenge.
When did this open?
Well, it just opened up last Saturday.
Oh, there's one coming right over there.
Yeah, there are 5 of them in here right now.
How do you keep them from tearing this up?
Well, we hope they don't tear it all up. The idea in this case was largely based on what we know about the way these animals act. They're very playful, they're very active, very social animals. People love to see them, so we gave the people different vantage points into the place, and we also tried to provide the animals with a setting that would allow for what they naturally do in the wild.
I mean, get so close. Look at this, they're right there.
A lot of times the people will be right on one side of the glass and the chimps are interacting with them. They wave to them and bang on the glass, and they have a good time.
Bonobos offer a special fascination for us. Watching them, you sense that there's something uncannily familiar about them. And this is not coincidental, as I found out from senior mammal keeper Gail Folan.
They say that these animals are the most similar to humans. Is that true?
Genetically, they're supposed to be very much the closest related to humans. Huh. The percentage it's different is amazingly small. It's 1 or 2% different genetic material.
The San Diego Wild Animal Park is a sister organization to the zoo, located about 45 minutes away. The original idea was to provide a large protected area for those rare or endangered animals that might need open spaces to breed. Allowed to live as they would in the wild, their numbers began to increase dramatically. Since 1972, the park has been open to visitors who view the herds of animals roaming across large natural settings. I talked with Doug Myers, director of the Zoological Society of San Diego, about the success of the Wild Animal Park.
When I started in the zoo business, Jack, about 20 years ago, we used to talk about the reintroduction of a species in the wild. And I think these are things that the San Diego Zoo and Wild Animal Park have been a part of or the leaders in. So zoos are truly returning animals to the wild. That has been the biggest difference in the last couple decades.
Curator of mammals Randy Rikas drove me into the park to show me a real success story in animal conservation, the comeback of the southern white rhino.
The area that we're in right now, South Africa, was the first exhibit that was opened here at the Wild Animal Park. And in fact, one of the first specimens that we released into South Africa was the southern white rhino.
As far as the southern white rhino, were these animals almost extinct at the turn of the century?
There was only about 20 left in Africa, and right now the population is very, very stable within zoos. And the wild population has been brought back to about 4,600 animals.
Randy next took me to another section of the park to see a close relative of the southern white rhino, the northern white. These animals, originally from Central Africa, now hover on the brink of extinction. So this is the northern white rhino?
That's correct. This is the male that we brought in from Khartoum.
Wow, look at this. Is he gonna come up here in the truck?
Yep, he'll come right up.
Man, he's something else. Come here, come here. Here he comes.
This is probably the most endangered large land mammal on the face of the earth today.
Really? How many left?
In Zaire, there's roughly 28 right now.
In Zaire?
In Zaire,
because I mean, there's wars in Zaire.
That is correct. There are 4 here at the San Diego Wild Animal Park, 2 males and 2 females. And there's about 8 in Drkolova, Czechoslovakia right now.
Is he gonna come right in the truck with me?
Yeah.
Come here.
Well, hopefully not in the truck with you, but he'll come up to the truck.
Does he like carrots, I hope?
Mm-hmm.
He won't eat the truck, will he? Jeepers creepers, he's gonna come in the window. Oh, man, he just hit the door. I'm sorry about that. Just wrecked your truck. He looks like he's gonna puncture a hole in our tire.
Occasionally, they do get a little rambunctious with the vehicles.
Yeah, don't hit that tire much. Hey, leave that tire alone. Look how he moves the bed of the truck.
He could pick up the back of the truck off the ground with virtually no problem at all.
Oh, great.
Just, he's playing around trying to see what's inside the truck.
Come here, one more carrot. That's all I got. Come here. Now I'm gonna go up and see your girlfriends. Now I'm gonna go up and see the girlfriends, okay? Nice boy. Boy, he's big, man. These 2 here are the females.
The one closest to us is Nadi, and the one on the other side of Nola here. And it's very unfortunate that these 2 females that are here don't seem to reproduce because they could add a lot to the genetic gene pool. We can get out here, we'll walk around and we'll just watch them, and as long as we stay close to the truck, we'll be fine. What we're doing with them is we're doing reproductive examinations and logistically trying to figure out why they don't reproduce, why they don't run a cycle.
Why'd you get upset?
The male is now approaching, and unfortunately, this is what happens. They never cycle. So anytime the male approaches the 2 females, they react aggressively rather than in a reproductive situation where they would let him breed. What we see now is that, you're okay. What we see now is that these 2 cows.
Yeah, what I see about 6,000 pounds of an animal. That's what I see. Heck, reproduce it. But they.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, you're
Come
okay.
On. You're all right.
Yeah, you're
fine.
okay.
Come on. You're all right. You're okay.
The main difference again then in the southern and the northern is what? This is the northern we're looking at.
From the top of their ears to the base of their nose, you will notice on a northern white rhinoceros that it is much longer and a little bit narrower than what you would see in a southern white rhinoceros. And that's one of the only outside characteristics that you can visually tell the difference with. And you would have to have them standing side by side to really differentiate between the 2.
So do you still have hope to save the northern species?
If we can protect the animals that are in the wild and keep them breeding, and if Czechoslovakia can keep breeding the numbers that they are right now, and if we can figure out what is wrong with some of these older females, why they're not reproducing, there's no reason to believe that we cannot save northern white rhinoceros because we brought southern white rhinoceros back from the brink of extinction with only 20 animals. It would be absolutely incredible to see something like this become extinct.
Education about the status of endangered animals is vital to the survival of numerous species. So here's the message from Jungle Jack. Listen up to the animal rap. Hey, what are you guys doing?
Hey, Jungle Jack, come on and rap.
All right.
Yo, I'm a living creature. We're all living creatures. We act like a theater with humans the main feature. We gotta realize we share the world and the planet. Gotta open our eyes, our animals are gonna get it. Don't you see? With things like DDT, the bald eagle, the symbol, risk of coming extinct. It isn't funny. In fact, it's kinda whack. When we're killing animals for the fur in the back, or for the horns in the head, we add bloodshed. Built homes and highways so they couldn't spread. You heard what I said, but do you know what I meant? We're losing wildlife, the city environment. Respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. We gotta move now if we ever wanna see the African elephant or the humpback whale. Turn things around, G. Thoughts must excel in helping the tiger, the cheetah, the jaguar, and animals' lives who are put on the backfire. It's the truth, Ruth. No, it's not a myth. If we don't stop, we'll be the only ones left.